Good morning, guys. So we are on day 11. We are getting so close to the end. I hope this is going really well for you and you're thinking about some things that you can practice on a daily basis, even if that means that right now you're just focusing on the task at hand each day. But I hope some of this is sticking with you. So we are on day 11. Today's topic is kind of one of my favorites, but also not a terribly fun topic. So in the fitness industry, it's not uncommon for me as a trainer, as a nutritionist, to hear somebody say that they overindulged. The holidays are coming. It's the perfect time to do something like that, or the perfect opportunity to do that. And so somebody overindulges on a holiday, and then they are in the gym because they're there to work it off or beat themselves up or punish themselves. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit. So you already know if you are one of these people who naturally has the tendency to go to the gym to work off their turkey dinner or whatever it is, okay? But I want to talk about if you either physically or mentally push yourself harder in those circumstances. So I think a lot of times it's really easy for somebody to go to the gym, hop on a treadmill or whatever it is, and say, I'm not getting off this treadmill until I hit 500 calories and I burned off what I ate the other night or whatever it was the next day. And I just want to kind of talk about why this is really unhealthy. So doing something like that is actually a much less severe form of a binge eating disorder. So typically when you think about binge eating and eating disorders in general, we think about somebody who is eating a lot of food and then they have bulimia, so they're purging in terms of removing it from their body physically, or we think about somebody who might be anorexic and therefore preventing themselves from eating, okay? So purging and binging are kind of going to fall under that bulimia category. But the other way that eating disorders are developing is now it's being recognized that by binging on food and eating a lot of food, typically things that you are labeling as those bad foods, things that you know don't sit well with you, things that don't align with your goals, things that don't make you feel good, and then following that with a purge of some sort. And sometimes that purge can look like exercise. And it's really tricky because obviously exercise is good for you, right? Exercise is not a bad thing, but it can become kind of this tricky cycle when you are somebody who eats something and then exercises to punish yourself for that. And I'm not by any means saying that you should be concerned that you have an eating disorder. If you feel like you do, I am not the person to talk to on this. I can help in a lot of ways in terms of working through some strategies, but I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. It is not my job to or right to diagnose something like that or treat it. So I just want to preface it with that. But that being said, it is something that we see a lot and it kind of goes unnoticed. So today I want you to be thinking about those things, and I want you to think about if that is serving you positively or negatively. If it's improving your life, your relationship with food, your goals. Do you feel better after something like that happens? Do you feel worse? And I want you to think critically. So I really want you to think about if you are going to the gym and you're pushing yourself a little bit harder because you overindulged at a certain meal, are you getting anything out of it? Do you feel good during your workout? Do you feel good when you leave? Or do you typically feel like you could have done more, or it wasn't good enough, or it could have been better, or you just feel beat up, you know? There's a lot of different ways you can look at it, and I'm just curious and kind of wanting you to think about that critically. If you are not somebody who does this and you never have, then great. This is just more information for you than anything else. And I want you to think about how you might be able to change that. So if you are somebody who likes to go to the gym and push it after overindulging, then how can you change that relationship? And this is not to say that exercising after you do eat a lot of food is a bad thing. It can kind of be one of the better things that you can do for your body. A lot of people also think that when you overindulge the next day you should undereat, and that's not really the way to go about it either. It might mean that you just need to do a different type of exercise. So the best thing you can do for your body when you do overindulge, particularly on carbs, is go utilize that food as energy. So make use of what you're eating. Go do some strength training, lifting, resistance training, something like that is going to serve you a lot better than doing cardio. If you go do cardio, you might be using some of the energy, but by utilizing those carbs as energy for your muscles, you'll actually allow yourself to have a little bit better strength. You'll recover a little better. You'll probably feel really good during your workout, but you won't have to go overboard. You won't have to feel guilty. You won't have to feel like you are punishing yourself over anything. So, something to think about today. And then today, your assignment, I want you to think at each meal today, I want you to take a moment as you sit down for your meal, and I want you to think about the feelings that you're having when you are sitting down to eat. Are you eating because you are hungry? Are you eating because you're stressed? How are you feeling? Or do you feel like, I really don't want to have this meal right now, but I'm going to anyways because I already prepped it? I want you to think about how you're feeling towards your food at that very moment. Do you feel good? Are you excited to have it? Is it appealing? And just kind of be aware of how that's going. If those things aren't happening, maybe something needs to change. Maybe you're missing something from your meal. We've talked a lot about how smart our brains are. If you are just craving avocado and you don't have any, get some avocado, add it to it. Do something to kind of help yourself based on what your body's telling you need at that point in time. Okay? We have 4 more days left, guys. Stick with it. We are so close to the end and there's some good stuff coming. I'll talk to you tomorrow.